Hey guys, this is Richard, and we are back with another session of Macchiato Monsters in the Lost City. I am back with three awesome players who are going to introduce their characters to you. And then before we get back into the action, we're going to discuss a mechanic in Macchiato Monsters called goals. And they're going to set out some goals for both the party and for themselves personally. So let's do that on camera, since it's an interesting mechanic, and since I know that Eric has seen the videos, if he catches us doing it wrong, he can tell us. With that, I'll hand introductions over to Kyle playing Pulmia.
Yeah, sure. So I'm playing Pulmia the Geomancer, and I was sent by my teacher to find a certain doctor, his drinking buddy, hobgoblin archaeologist, to come to explore this place. And we found him, and he was dead. And so, in desperation, we entered these ruins. And I've been using my geomancy to locate some food in this God's forsaken place. I guess it's not forsaken by that one evil god there, Zorgon. Yeah. But otherwise, God's
forsaken. Really just misunderstood. So
yeah, I mean, maybe we'll get to know Zorgon. Maybe Zorgon's not so bad. Maybe. Who knows? Yeah. So I think Pulmia's personal goal here is probably to find something that will impress her teacher. Because, this whole job didn't go so well, and it would be really great if she could find something and bring it back to the academy to be like, well, look, I did some archaeology. Yeah, even though I'm a geomancer.
Nice. Going over to Pei, played by Zach.
Hi, yeah, I am playing Pei, the kobold musketeer and grave robber. And Pei is a little bit manic right now. He joined this expedition to find Hiram, the archaeologist, because Pei had previously traded with Hiram, had sold Hiram some relics and reliquaries that he'd scavenged. And with Hiram dead, there's no one to buy from him anymore. So I'm wondering if Pei's personal goal is also around finding something to make this mission not a total financial loss. And I think I might go with that for now until I can think of something else, because I would like to maybe go in a different direction than Pulmia, and maybe do something that's a little more character driven, but I'm not entirely sure what that is now. You said we could change goals at any time. Is that correct?
Goals can change shape anytime.
Okay.
Change goals like I changed majors.
All right. I think I'm going to go with finding something valuable so that he can sell it and make this not a total financial loss. But I'm going to keep an eye out for anything character driven that I could switch to.
Great. All right. And finally, Tony playing Dennison.
Yeah. So Dennison is a juggler who's been hired in the past and in the present to be almost like a sellsword, unbeknownst to him. So he's tall and big wavy hair, and I think that in this case, he went into this mission thinking that he was going to entertain and perhaps work for the man who met an unfortunate end. And I'm blanking on his name right now. I apologize.
Professor Hiram.
Hiram, yeah, Professor Hiram. Okay. And in failing that, now that it's done, he's reassessing, and he actually feels like he's got it figured out. He feels like he's being put on this test to run this gauntlet, to run through the trials that lay ahead of him, because he's going to meet his client. That wasn't his real client. His real client is deeper in, and once he finds his client, he will surely. I'm going to use the word impress again, but he's gonna wow them and awe them in ways that he's performing in his juggling and acrobatic feats. So that's his goal, motivation.
So you're looking for a potential employer to impress, correct?
Yeah, someone to impress with my skill, and let's see. Yes, I wouldn't say that they're a teacher. I'm impressing them with with performing abilities to keep them company. To I guess Dennison has found himself in a handful of sundry situations, so he's not sure exactly what they need, but they hired him for a reason, for his special qualities. So,
Great.
yeah.
All right. So go ahead and fill those in under personal goals on the character sheet. And I went ahead and gave you, I think this version of Macchiato Monsters clarified something that people were doing in the playtest anyway, where the GM was just sort of retroactively giving goals frequently, because people would frequently have goals that they didn't really have time to articulate before they actually accomplished them. They were sort of essential to getting things done. So I went ahead and gave you guys a goal for getting into, and I don't know why I called it a temple. The underground structure, past the traps. And Kyle Pulmia had talked about finding food as sort of a party goal. One thing that we'll dig into a little bit more in the recap is your party was looking for Professor Hiram in the mountains, the Nakmar Mountains, and got lost and separated from their larger expedition, and eventually ate through their food and was pretty much starving by the time they stumbled on the snow-covered ruins of the lost city that Professor Hiram was looking for. So finding some food is definitely a goal. Are there any other party goals?
I think probably like get to safety, right? Like we probably want to get, like, as soon as we have food, get somewhere safer than we've been.
Nice.
I'm also imagining finding the rest of the party because we came up here with a large caravan. So
yeah, maybe they've shown up here.
I like that.
I mean, I don't think Pulmia is too concerned about that, except for that hobgoblin whiskey. That was pretty important.
Right. Just they also had that stew. So like finding the party also means finding food.
Right.
yeah.
I will say that, as you guys come up with things that you think that you're all going to work together on, feel free to add them here. And since I gave you an accomplishment, that means you are one goal or additional accomplishment away from leveling up, which will happen the next time you sort of get off your feet and take a rest. So after that point. So
where is that described in the text? Do you know?
Yep, on experience and goals, which I broke out into separate.
Oh, right. It's the very top.
Yeah.
Characters level up after reaching a number of goals equal to their next level. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So that would be like to get level 2, you need to fulfill 2 goals. So, and then it sort of resets, kind of Dungeon World style. So, all right, questions before we dig back into recapping what happened last time. Okay. So last time, you all were traveling with an expedition to find this professor, this hobgoblin academic archaeologist who had been searching for the lost city of Sidicea, that once had a small empire from the Nockmar Mountains, but was covered in snow, ice, and rock by an avalanche many centuries ago, and its location was eventually lost. Hiram was very interested in a deity of the late Sidician period named Zargon, who sort of took over Sidician religion, or dominated Sidician religion shortly before the city disappeared in the avalanche. And we'll pick up with Tepe. Once you got separated from your larger group, what happened?
We wandered around in the wilderness for a while, tried to make shelter as best we could, and eventually ran out of our food stores while trapped in the mountains.
Right. From there, while wandering around, Denison, what did you find?
Let's see. We found that door that led down into the cavern, but we also found the corpse of Professor Hiram.
Yeah, who had triggered one of the traps that had been set for whoever opened that door.
Right, and the trap had ended him face down in the snow, and in addition to finding his corpse, I believe it was a kobold that ended up grabbing a ring.
Polmia took that ring.
Okay, yeah, because it was of significance in the kind of the school order. It was kind of like a class ring type of thing.
Right.
Yeah, and I think even though we knew that this place was probably going to be trapped to the teeth, we proceeded because we felt like there was probably all these traps had to be protecting something, and our curiosity was piqued, and we went further in, dodged the gas trap, or narrowly dodged the gas trap because we opened the doorways and made it a level further deeper. Also dodging a pit trap there. So
yeah. There was some bear dodging of that pit trap, with Denison hanging onto the suddenly opened the doorway that you had opened that set off the pit trap, and Yelnara, who was traveling with you, bouncing backwards to evade the pit trap. And then Pulmia from there, sort of once the pit trap was sprung, what happened from there?
So we climbed down to the next level, and going through those cylinders, one of those cylinders. I think it was the one with the goddess with the wheat and the sword.
Yeah, right on top of the area you found were statues of 3 gods, and there are 3 cylinders that seem to be immediately under each of those statues.
Yeah, that's right. So we went down one of them, and reaching the bottom, so I did a ritual to geomance a path towards some food, detected some food, because there were so many doors in that place.
Right.
And above us were some ominous looking bugs giant bugs. And on our way to the door, they tried to kill us, but we escaped.
Nice.
And we came to this sort of T intersection in the next room, and I think that's kind of where the session ended.
And which of you is holding light?
I believe Tepe may have taken the lantern from Yelnara,
Okay.
unless Polmia took it.
I gave it away when I did the ritual.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. I think I took it back because it was initially Tepe's lantern that he gave to Yelnara when he was setting up his arquebus.
Okay. Yeah, the nice thing about lanterns is you can either hang or sort of set them down without necessarily risking their going out.
Ooh, could I hang it off of my arquebus next time, perhaps?
Possibly, yeah. With the kickback of the arquebus, that may
Be dangerous.
be a little bit dangerous. But yeah. Tepe seems like the kind of person who might live dangerously.
Oh yes, dangerously or thoughtlessly. One of those.
One of those, You never know it won't work until you try and it blows up. So you get to this T intersection, and in the lantern light, you passed a couple of doors that did not have anything to do with food. And let me throw a couple of dice around for a second. And that did not have anything to do with food. So you know that there's definitely rooms down here. But Polmia, that's not where your geomancy is leading you. And looking down one hallway, Polmia, you see no doorways or anything to your left. You can't quite see the end of that hallway. But to the right, you think you see at least one door, and at the edge of your light, you see something sort of gleam, just very, very faintly, like something metal. And you hear at the edge of that well, let's do this. Why don't you guys roll 2d6? Somebody just grab and roll 2d6 and tell me how you do. How did that go? And tell me if you can just say it up for the audience at home.
Yeah, sounds good. I got a 4 and a 3.
So a 7.
I got it.
Yeah. You guys hear one of the doors behind you start to turn. And starts to turn, and the one more second to. What do you do as this door starts to turn?
I think I was in the lead, maybe.
And this door is behind you, so
yeah. So I think what I will do is
I'm guessing you're near the center since you have the light, or you're up close, or you're close up next to
Palmia.
Dennison, are you in the back? Are you kind of hanging back? Are you close to the group?
I think he would be. Yeah, I mean, he would be hidden back a few steps because I think he had an arrow knocked back from the spiders that were going to the eyes, the insects of the darkness. So I think he's going to kind of keep that stance, like a readied stance.
Okay.
I think I'll pull out my round shield with my left hand and ready a dart with my right hand. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Tepe would turn, and I think he would be like starting to hoist up the arquebus and like ready to let down the lantern. And I think he's just like, I think he asked like, "Are we gonna fight this, or are we going to make a bad run and find the food? Because last I knew, we were looking for the food, and I don't know what this is."
Isn't the food the same direction as the door?
No, the door is coming. This is opening behind you, the one you already passed.
Ah, okay, gotcha. Okay,
So
sorry.
you could easily make a break for it, either to your left or to your right, and hopefully evade.
Okay, well, I think I will.
And I think the doors you saw towards the end of your light also had light coming from underneath them.
Oh, that's right. They did. Yes.
Yeah.
You said that. Yeah. So I think I will kind of cautiously step up to that door with the light coming out of it.
Oh yeah. So sorry. Those are like to your right, about 30 feet away.
Yeah.
The door that seems to coming opening is behind you. It's one of the two you passed, about 10 to 15 feet behind you.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So
I'm going towards the door to the right.
Yeah, I say we make a mad run for it to get away from whatever this thing is, barricade the door, get something to eat, restock, reevaluate.
There's probably something in there, but you know.
I'm sure this deep in we'll be fine, right? We'll be fine.
Yeah, I agree with the caution, the note, the sentiment of caution, and I kind of hustle past as well, just kind of like distancing myself.
You're hustling off to the right. As you begin to move, you hear people. So you make a corner. And you hear people that you can't see because you've kind of turned that corner and hustled away, speaking with each other in low voices, in a language you may not know. Pull me if you want to check and see if you know this language. You may do so. Just tell me which one you're checking.
Okay. Let's see.
Do it once for. You can do it once during the adventure for intelligence, wisdom, and charisma.
Yeah, I'll start with wisdom.
Okay.
Let's see. Here's a D20.
Tepe and Denison, you can try this as well, but it seemed like Pumia's background may make it likely.
Not only did I fail, I rolled a 20.
Oh, yeah. Tepe and Denison, would you like to try?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to go with intelligence.
Okay.
I'm gonna fail with intelligence, but I'll try it anyway.
Okay.
Oh, I got it. Well, I'm pretty sure I have like a 5 or a 6 intelligence.
You got a 5. What'd you get on the roll?
Yeah, I got a 9 or an 8. I got an 8 on the roll, but
Okay. Yeah.
I got a 4 out of my 11 intelligence.
Tepe, is this language related to the draconic languages kobolds speak, or is it more of a just one you so happen more like one you so happen to study as part of your tomb looting work?
I think the latter.
Okay.
I think it is a language that I've learned in order to deal with maybe I was dealing with some far away cults, and I had to mangle my way through this language in order to acquire a deal on some goods that I was transporting.
Nice. Okay. So to pay, it's hard to make out because clearly, whatever cults speak this language now have never heard it actually spoken. So there's clearly that issue of, you're hearing words pronounced differently than you would have heard them said in both among cults and among academics who try to say words aloud that they've never heard pronounced or try to guess at how words would be pronounced. Same thing with the various cults you've been around. But you can make out enough that scan back up real quick where I was. You hear them say something about you're fairly sure, you've got it. Don't let it escape. And they say something about heretics and not wanting the heretics to know they're here, or it sounds something like that is roughly how you'd translate it, or you think they're talking about. And they seem to be going back the way you guys came originally. So they're back into the room where you encountered the bugs, the glowing bugs.
I think as I hear them walking away, Tepe starts to slow down from his loping run.
Okay.
He goes, I think he turns to Denison and Pulmi. He's like, nay, wait. I do not like that. They're talking about someone being here, and I don't know if they're talking about us.
They specifically said the heretics is what they called them.
Yeah. Speaking of,
however, Tepe, you also have the lantern, don't you?
yes.
Okay. All three of you see that as you get closer down the hallway to the right where you headed, that there's 2 doors towards the end of the hallway, both of which have light coming from under them. and you can hear low voices from beyond those doors. You can't really make out what they're saying without like getting closer and trying to listen. At the very end of that hallway, you see it ends, and you see the statue of a very tall man in a bronze mask, holding a scale and a lightning bolt, exactly like the sort of paternal sky deity you saw outside on top of the temple. And that statue is just at the end of the hallway. There's signs of small bits of devotional objects left at the foot of the statue. Little bowls of water, what look like a kind of some sort of wine, or at the foot of the statue. Some sort of cloth favors of some sort that look like they're made of some sort of silk. But it's just 4 or 5 total. And you hear the door back to the room that you came out of close. There must have been several people in that group, because it took a while from the time the door opened to the time the door closed, and you heard a lot of foot shuffling. But now there's that statue and 2 doors with light coming out from under them. What do you do?
Yeah, I first wanted to see if like any of these devotional items might be something I could use for casting.
It doesn't really look like it.
Okay.
They look sort of like the kind of things you just sort of leave it as,
Offerings.
Yeah, they're just kind of simple little offerings.
Okay.
I mean, they're not unnice, but they're not super complicated, nor are they like complex, like deep faith items.
So we've got people in rooms to both sides and cultists to our back, right?
Now, both those doors are on the same side. They're both on. They're on your right-hand side.
Okay.
And you're guessing that your left-hand side, like if you reach out and touch that wall, you're guessing that's whole same thing to be vaguely pyramid shaped, like a step pyramid style or ziggurat style. You're guessing, that this might be approximately the external wall.
Right.
What would have been the external wall before everything was buried.
Right.
I think Tepe picks up that bowl of wine and like brings it to his nose and like sniffs it. Does it?
It is not fresh at all. I mean, it is gone pretty vinegary.
He grimaces and like sets it down and turns back to Polmia and goes, "Is this the food that your Mancy pointed us to?"
This is not.
No, of course
Probably
not.
good enough. I'm gonna be a real jerk here because I feel like that's how this character is shaping up to be. But he's like, you should have it. Like, it's probably good enough for you. Like,
I snarl at Dennison a little bit and I go, I drink better wine than this when I'm camping. I'm not going to stoop so low.
The kobold standards.
I think Dennison then just to like he's gonna dip his like pinky in and taste a little bit.
It has got a sweetness to it, like somebody added something sweet to it. And Denison, you can check your wisdom if you like. You want to roll equal to or under a 9.
Okay. I had to roll under a 9. No, I got a 16.
Yeah, it's something's weird and wrong about it, other than the fact that it's just not fresh and it's gone pretty vinegary. But otherwise, you just can't tell. There's something excessively earthy in addition to excessively vinegary about it, but you can't really figure out what it is that's going on based on that. Now,
I think he's probably not so interested and curious that he's going to risk actually drinking it. But
right. And this is, and again, you guys are not necessarily thirsty. You know, being surrounded by snow, you were able to get water, but you had a rougher time getting things to actually eat. And Pulmia, you know that behind these doors is where the food is, and it's not some paltry scrap. It's not some paltry scraps at the foot of a.
Yeah, I say there's real food through here. We've got no choice. Let's just get on with it, and we'll see who's through there. I hope they can be reasoned with.
I think Tepe nods in agreement because I can't do it because I don't have my camera. Sorry.
All right. Are you going to go to the nearest door or the farthest door, sort of, which is almost right next to the statue?
Do either sound quieter?
No, not really. Both of them have light coming out of them, and one of them you hear low voices. The other you hear. You don't seem to hear as many people.
So the less people one.
And you're just going to open the door?
I mean, I figure like I'm gonna have my shield up. Yeah.
I think knowing that there's people behind us, Tepe is not going to like ready his arquebus, but I think he's gonna ready his shillelagh. He's got his shillelagh gripped up like a bat. He's ready.
I think Dennison will just keep his arrow knocked and just like keep an eye on both sides, like making sure that they're not invading us from the back. So.
And describe to me again, Tepe, how you're holding your how you're holding your shillelagh.
So I said with two hands, but I guess I'm gonna have to one-hand it since I have the lantern in my other hand. So yeah, I guess I just I'm gonna have my shillelagh in my right hand and the lantern in my left, and just kind of got it ready to swing around. I guess more like a golf club than a baseball bat.
So also, the statue, which I said was wearing a mask or had a mask carved onto it. It's not just the face. It looks like somebody carved a mask over the face. It looks like a man with sort of stylized long hair carved into the mask and with a beard. That's on the statue. And you open the door. And are you throwing open the door? Or are you just kind of trying to peek? Pulmia, you tell me.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm definitely trying to peek.
Okay. Why don't you check dexterity?
Great. Okay. My dexterity is a whopping 8. Let's see how this goes. Oh, not a 20, but a 19.
Wow. Okay. Pomia, you have just enough time to see that clearly the lack of talking was more a lack of communication. You see one dude sitting at a desk and several other people standing around looking at that one dude who is doing most of the talking to them as they nod, and they seem to be writing on small tablets. They're all wearing chainmail, and that chainmail has sort of layered with blue tunics and blue robes. And all 6 of them are wearing variations on that brass mask with the stylized hair and the stylized sort of beard sort of cast in. And all of them have like small like top helmets on.
So I guess, given that I failed the check, I'm not going to be able to be too stealthy about this.
Yeah, and so you're sort of like standing there, and you don't really understand. To pay you understand a little bit of the language, and I'll talk to you a second about what they're saying. But almost as soon as you open the door, Pulmia, you find yourself hoping that it's just the mask and he's not actually making eye contact with you. And then after he doesn't talk for 2 seconds and doesn't break eye contact, you realize, no, indeed, you have been spotted by the guy who's sitting behind the desk talking. And about the time you realize it, all 5 of the other people turn and look in your direction.
Cool. So I think I put my hands up, and I don't understand the language, so I think I look to pay. I'm like, tell them we're just looking for food.
Was I able to hear anything like as
they were discussing something about spies and thefts, and how the others are not doing their jobs. The damn Magi was said.
I I think Tepe might like look up at Polmia and be like, I think we should go through the other door.
I'm gonna ask Tepe, what are they saying? And I'm gonna start putting away my when I see that Pulmia is kind of like in the I surrender pose, he's gonna put away his bow and arrow because he doesn't want to create any more threat if and when they see him. Just to fill me in a little bit.
To pay, you know that the person behind the desk is now beckoning you to come into the room and not stand in the hallway.
I think Tepe closes the door, if that is possible.
Palmy is sort of standing in it, from what I understand.
Okay, I think Tepe is just kind of standing there. I think I am imagining Tepe like under Palmia's arms, like under her Floyd robes, and is just kind of like they're looking for spies and they want us to come in, and I think we should run.
We're not spies. Let's keep going.
Palmia, someone's gesturing at you to come in.
Yeah, I think I think that Palmia, she would.
There's also food in the room, Palmia.
Yeah.
There's a carving board with what looks like bread and something that looks a lot like cheese.
Oh, great. Yeah, I think she will step into the room. She doesn't have much in the way of dexterity. I don't think she'd be able to run. I think, yeah, she's gonna try to do this social engagement.
I mean, yeah, Dennison wants to also join in on this. He wants to nudge Tepe in, but if Tepe is fighting it, he will not struggle with Tepe.
No, I think if Dennison is like trying to go in and Palmia starts stepping in, Tepe like walks in alongside them, like looking like a dog who is, when you pull on a dog's leash and it obviously does not want to go in that direction. That is how Tepe is looking. His shoulders are all hunched, and his ears are tucked back, and he's like, I don't think either of you have dealt with these kind before. I don't think this is going to go very well. But if you insist we die today, then we die today.
And I just say, look, I haven't dealt with cultists, but I have dealt with academics. Let's go find.
So
these look like professors to you, huh?
The guy behind the desk gestures, and some of the other people bring 3 chairs and sort of set them a good 10 feet from the desk, and then they all sort of go back to the desk, and the guy behind the desk gestures for the 3 of you to sit.
Tepe takes a seat.
Yeah, I'll take a seat.
Sort
of have my shield resting on my lap.
Yeah, I think I do the same with my. I think I put my arquebus across my lap. I'm just kind of sitting there, and my feet don't reach the floor. If they would, I would be like shaking my leg.
Yeah, Dennison will also take a seat. He'll probably inspect the chair, just like basic wooden chair. Okay, and just smile, as if he's like you're looking for spies. I'm totally innocent, shit-eating grin on his face.
I think in whatever mangled bit of this language that I know, Tepe is well met. Thank you for allowing us to take refuge from the snow.
The guy behind the desk sort of holds up his hand, and mutters something. And then looks up at you and from behind the mask says to you, Tepe, he's like, well met in the name of the true gods. And the true ruler, who is the father of justice. How can we be of assistance to you? And he says it without any warmth.
I think I translate that to the others. I say, he wants to know how he can help us. I think he's being sarcastic.
And I say, I think we should just beg for some food.
Ask them, and I'm going to try to I'm going to ask them how we could be of service to them first, because I feel, and I'm going to be real serious with to pay really quick here and just be like, they're not going to give us their food, but they will give us their food if we're valuable to them. Tell us what we can do to help them. Is there something that's bothering them that we can help them with?
Yeah, Tepe nods, and I think he digs in his knapsack and pulls out this. I have a pouch of Oracle's incense, and I think Tepe pulls out this incense and he goes, well, we would like to pay our respects to the Lord of Justice. You said we would like to pay our respects, and also, and he shows them the incense, puts it down, and also we'd like to see if we can help you in any way, in maybe in exchange for just getting out of the snow for a bit and maybe some victuals.
It's a good translation. I don't know whether it's being translated correctly or not, so I'm just nodding and smiling.
By half those words I got wrong too.
Yeah.
And Tepe, he looks at you and says, you are from beyond the ice and snow, then?
I think he wants to know where we're from. And I think I say, yes, me am.
And you can see now that all of them have very, very fair skin. Like almost ghostly fair skin. You are from beyond the ice and snow?
Yes. Yes, we're from beyond. We've heard tales of the Lord of Justice and wanted to see him for ourselves and pay our respects, you see. Yeah, because his glory travels far and wide, and songs are spoken of him, and we wanted to. This, yes.
And make a wisdom check to pay. Because they immediately start whispering to each other, and this is between your limited knowledge of the language and the fact that they're trying to whisper.
Okay.
I want to see how well you do it at sort of overhearing from where you're sitting, some feet away.
That is a 4 out of 11.
Nice. Yeah, you can tell they are quite. There's a lot of discussion about who you might be and whether or not you're spies. And whether or not you can be trusted, and there's something about there's something about they seem guileless and our enemies are more cunning.
I think I like literally translate. They think we're too dumb to be spies, which is good for us, I guess.
Well, I suppose I am mostly book smart.
And they look back up to you. And they say, "So you have come to revere Gorm."
Yeah, Gorm, indeed.
And yet, did you leave an offering at the great shrine outside the door?
Nay, not yet. We were looking for a priest or someone to make sure that the offering was sanctified. Yes.
They look at each other and sort of nod. And I see that your servants, Dragon Child, are disciplined to not interrupt you.
Yes, they're very they're very well behaved.
Some of the others nod along with you. And sorry, what was that?
Oh yeah, I was just gonna look around, glance around, and see if there's any, if there was any like debris, detritus, non-valuable things that I could possibly start doing my trait juggle, just to entertain, right? Just
There's
to
there's definitely like a bowl of, they're not apples, but they look apple-ish. And they're in sort of a brass bowl that's got sort of nice etchings alongside of it. Just because you're looking around there, Dennison, there's on the far right-hand side of the room, there's a door in the back wall on the right side and a door on the right-hand wall on the back side. They're pretty close to each other. But like clearly, like one is in the right-hand wall and one is in the back wall, but they're within a few feet of each other. Otherwise, there's a small sort of screen that seems to have a cot behind it, so clearly somebody lives here. But there's only one of those.
Can I change my response to that?
Yeah.
I think instead of going along with that they're my servants, I think I want to insist that they are fellow pilgrims. I think I'm like, oh no. These are they're fellow pilgrims. They're with me.
And yet they do not speak.
They're not blessed with the tongue, you see. They hope to learn.
what are they saying? I'm gonna like utter some I'm gonna basically ask you like what
Yeah.
are they, yeah, just like whisper to you like what's going on.
Yeah, I think I turn to you guys. I'm like, you both need to pretend like you're here to worship the statue outside. I'm trying to convince them that we're all pilgrims here.
I give my most respectful bow I can, given my seated condition. Very.
Yeah, I'll follow suit.
And so they look at you, and you've brought something that looks like incense.
Yeah, yes, that is my offering.
How that is extravagant. That is more than we could we could ever produce ourselves. It has been some years since we have seen anything like incense.
Yes, well, that is why I hoped to bring it, since Gorm, the Lord of Justice, has not had such fine, faraway goods in so long. I thought it would be a worthy offering to one so great. I'm trying to sell them on the incense. Look through your packs. Do y'all have anything? I don't know if they're happy with it.
I pull out my good berries.
Yeah, you're all maybe. I mean, you can't really make out their faces. The guy behind the desk sort of stands up all of a sudden and starts to say something and sort of reaches behind his mask, and you realize that he's gotten emotional. And he says something in a very choked voice. He said, "Your generosity is I simply cannot fathom the generosity. The Gorham does not need our gifts, but oh my."
I turned to Pulmia and Dennison, and like under my breath, I'm like, "Oh shit, no, they actually really like it."
Oh, I bow again.
Like it awkwardly, like most of the ones who aren't the lead guides sort of bow towards you. You must understand, we have been beset, even here in our remote locations, we have been beset by spies.
What sort of spies?
We are constantly harassed by Zargon's people. And here, like two of the people near the back sort of lift their mask and sort of just slightly and sort of spit on the ground, and sort of rub the spit into the stone floor with their shoes.
I nod gravely.
If Pulmia or Dennison want to ask any questions, we can just assume that to pay like translates.
Yeah.
I think Pulmia would. I think she would ask to be allowed to pray, so that she can get this over with and hopefully get some food.
They're, one of the ones who seems to be sort of possibly younger than the others, just by the way he seems to be sort of like swatted at and bossed around, starts to sort of like prepare a brazier, and put some coals in the bottom of a brazier, so that you can spoon the incense onto them. And they open the door, and you can see a couple of them go to the next door over and knock at it, and a few more of people who seem less put together, but seem to be wearing similar sorts of clothes and pulling their mask on, and sort of pulling their robes on, and their chainmail sort of come out. And they put the brazier in front of the statue of Gorm, and what do you do there?
I think I kneel down in front of the statue and maybe like waft some of the smoke, the incense smoke from the brazier up above me, and sort of bring it down, and then do a bow to the statue.
What about the other two?
I think at this point I'm going to ask Cepeda to translate the may I use these for a ritual? And I just I point at the strange fruit-like looking things, and I want to get permission before I do anything with them. And then I might start doing something, but
Sepei, you might find yourself wishing that you could see their facial expressions because it takes them a moment to respond. And the guy behind the desk is like,
Yeah. I think Tepei turns back to Dennis and like shrugs and is like,
Yeah.
they're willing to give it a shot. Don't offend them.
Sure. So I think he grabs like four of whatever this strange fruit is. This like brownish black, like crusted over apple fruit.
as you pick them up, it's almost like they're the tops of mushrooms.
Oh, cool. So they have are they lighter like mushrooms, like a lighter density?
They're a little bit lighter, but they've got a good density to them. They're
Okay.
almost like portobellos, but more of like a ball-shaped head.
Sure. And so the idea is like, if I'm able to, I want to put on a show here, a little bit of a ritual. And if there are like any, I don't know, roof beams or any kind of like pillars or something like that, like I definitely want to play off of the terrain a little bit here. And like, I want to eventually end, I want these mushroom caps to like end up in the fire. But my idea is to like put on this display, like look upwards, and then finish in a bow, very similar to what Pulmia did. Like just like obviously as a type of worship. Like just,
Okay.
yeah. And yeah, I don't know if I should. It's type of thing where I'm just going on a limb. I don't know if it really has any actual effect.
Are you performing for the statue?
You know what? Yeah, I think I am, because I think it's more about that than it is to impress those around me.
Right.
Yeah.
So why don't you let's do this as a charisma check at advantage, Dennison.
Sure. So I'm gonna put a second die and then I'm gonna re-roll them. Just give me a
Awesome.
second. Okay. All right. Yeah. So I get a. So I think I passed because I get a 10 and an 18 and I have a 13 charisma.
Nice. Yeah. You are definitely sure that they also sort of bow as you bow after your short performance. Are you dropping all 4 mushroom heads into the fire?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's like the last one. I probably like make more of a ritual about it and like inhale deeply in my nose, which I can't actually do in real life because I'm all stuffed up. But like just like almost like it's a tasty morsel, like I'm gonna eat it. Like I go up close to it and then I like let it just fall into the fire.
Yeah, the as soon as you go to eat it, there's a gasp. And then as you let it fall into the fire, there's a bigger gasp. And several people step away. And it's not the previous 3, it's that last one. That's a slightly different color. And they sort of back away and sort of genuflect. and sort of, but they also pull like their sleeves over their mouths. As it starts to catch. What do you do?
I'm starting to. You guys might be reacting to this more than the others, but I think like if I catch any kind of scent or like inkling of this, I'm probably gonna like cover up my mouth with my jacket and just actually move away because it sounds like it's not good.
What about the other two?
I think I will get up and take like a long step back and then get on my knees again and do another bow.
And what about you there, Tepe?
Yeah, I think Tepe like glances around, sees everyone. Like it looks like they are being respectful and also maybe this like protecting themselves. And the last thing I want to do is offend these people, so I do exactly what everyone else is doing. Like mimic it as much as I can.
And the incense is already sort of heavy and thick in the air. I mean, this is the shrine is in a small hallway about 10 feet wide. And now there's this thick mushroomy smell as this other one starts to catch and sort of sizzle and cook slowly. And the air is becoming sort of fungally sweet, almost truffly smelling. And you think it's the original guy that was behind the desk, sort of gestures for everybody else to sort of go back into that second room, and gestures for the three of you to come into the room where you first encountered him. Does that sound good?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Is he going into that first room as well?
No, he's gestured for the others to go back into that room, but
So-
he's joining you. He's joining you in what looks like you're guessing based on the fact that there was a single bed in there that may be his quarters.
Okay, so he is joining us in the room.
Yeah.
That
Mhm.
okay, yeah,
Yeah, that sounds good.
yeah, I'm down with that.
And let's take a 10-minute break.
All right.
Cool.
See you guys at 9:30 Eastern.
Okay.
Hey. Everybody just a second to get back. Hey, Tony.
I'm here.
Perfect. All right, everybody. So he brings you into his rooms and is sort of apologizes for his name is Canadius. I'll put that in the chat, the spelling. As they move around, you can see that he has a slightly fancier helmet, and his mask is a little more detailed. And all of them have whitish hair. But his is certainly very white, almost grayish in color. And he sort of sets you down and sort of pours water for you, and puts out something that looks a little bit like bread. And then some of that cheese you smelled or saw, Pulmia.
I think just because his intelligence is probably one of the lowest in the party, Dennison is just gonna probably like take the bread instantly and just eat it because he doesn't see any like apprehension. He doesn't see a reason to not do it. I think that's. He's like, okay, we made it. Like, thank you, and bows again and just like kind of he has his share, maybe quickly, but he's not going to eat more than he's not going to take your guys' piece, your guys' share or anything like that. But.
Oh yeah, no, he's sort of cutting out and sort of just he's not serving you out of scarcity. There's clearly enough food.
And I think Polnia is just like, looks for a moment to make sure things are okay, and then like kind of discreetly takes her share and starts eating. It's like I'm gonna make sure I get something.
Yeah.
If you're noticing your hesitation, Palmia, like he takes and starts like the same stuff he served you and starts eating as well. He sort of raises his mask slightly, but not completely off of his face.
I think as we're kind of eating, Tepe kind of like whispers to Polmia and is like, "Hey, Professor, you ever hear of this Gorm figure? You know anything about this?"
Yeah, do I know anything about Gorm?
Why don't you make an intelligence check there, Palmia?
Okay. I've just been stepping down by one. I had 20, then 19, and now 18.
At least it's going down. Palmia, I mean, clearly Sky and Justice. I mean, that's, but you've not heard of Gorm specifically.
Yeah, and they just say religious studies was never my strong suit.
The statue seems to emphasize things that you would associate with paternal. But, you know, other than that stuff, the name is not ringing bells.
And I say, why don't you ask him to tell us a little bit more about Gorm? I mean, he loves Gorm, right? So he's bound to be open about it.
Yeah, I do that.
Yeah, he goes on. He gives you a short sort of thing. It's he's talking to you as if you already knew some stuff. Tepe, so it's a little frustrating, kind of confusing. But otherwise, you know, he tells you much of what you already know. He mentioned the heretics of Zargon. And then the unreliability of the Magi and the Maidens. He hits on that sort of ad nauseum. And how unreliable those people are.
And I get excited because I'm like, oh wow, like, now I'm learning something. And I ask if the evil doings of Zargon are what have caused the city to be lost to the world.
Or do you translate that to Tepe? Just let me know if you're not translating something.
Yeah, I'm down to translate anything unless it is potentially inflammatory. But like this seems, yeah.
And he is like, the evil of Zargon is the reason that we simply cannot be trusted. We can't, we once ruled an empire in ancient times, and our ancestors turned to Zargon, and the gods punished us to contain Zargon's evil and cruelty.
And I like jot this down as a note. So I'm like, okay, now I found something my professor will be excited about. All right, awesome.
I think I want to ask, where's Zargon's worshippers in the city? These Zargon folk, the bad ones. Where are they at in the city? Where are they harassing you from?
Oh, the Zargon, they rule the city below. They dominate everything, and will not let their evil be even just a little bit abated. But the gods have contained our people's potential for evil until we return to our old love of justice and mercy and the true gods.
And I'm especially nodding at the sound of mercy. It's like, oh, great, mercy. Okay, we could use some of that. All right.
I'm gonna kind of ask about like how could we contend with them at the lower levels? Like if we wish to venture forth to see more of this temple's, you know, to see more of it, to see more of the good splendor of the temple, how can we possibly challenge a place that is so wrought and overrun? What can we expect? How can we possibly deal with it?
Well, first we must deal with the cruelty and treachery of Zargon's priest, and then must address Zargon itself.
What do the other two factions, the other two worshippers, the mage and the lady, what do they want? How can we convince them to stop being so unreliable?
He sighs deeply and it's just like, well, if I knew that, I would be the great hero of our people and treasured by the gods. Ah.
I think Tepe wants to turn to like Pomia and Dennison and be like, let's hey, let's make this happen.
And I say, make what happen exactly?
Let's get these three together and drive out this Zargo guy.
I'm a geomancer, not a matchmaker.
Omia, hear me out, all right? How esteemed would you be if you could free this whole city and make it the whole city available to study and to research? You would be in history books, Polmia. You would get tenure for sure. I'm for certain.
Like, yeah, you see her like resistance dissolve as the words tenure enter her ears. She says, yes, of course. Yes, that would be quite glorious, I suppose.
And I like this idea. I admittedly, there's a lot of risk involved, but he looks at both of you and he's like, surely we can weather that storm as it comes to us. We've made it this far after all.
Yeah, I knew you'd be on board, Dennison.
All right. Well, maybe the Magi folks will listen to me. At least I can do some magic.
What are you telling him, Canadius?
So you guys can tell me what you want to say. I'm inclined to tell Canadius that we want to help and ask for where we can find the worshippers of the mage and the worshippers of the lady. Is that what she's called? The lady?
Yes, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then like just lay it out on the line that we want to help Canadius like rid this evil. But that's up to you guys.
Sounds solid.
Yeah, that's good.
Then yeah, that's why is what I tell Canadius.
Nice.
Hey, we're from the outside. We have we can help. with the Lord of Justice and the other two, who I don't care about as much, we can. I'm sure that we can be rid of Zargon and rid the curse from the city. You'd like that, wouldn't you, Canadius?
He sort of laughs. Are you being sincere, Tepe?
Yes.
Okay. He reaches out his hand, pats you on the shoulder. I knew you weren't a spy. He says with great confidence. It's not the like, oh, I guessed you weren't a spy. Like, I knew you weren't a spy. And just, well, I was young and ambitious once too. And I hope that life does not disappoint you as thoroughly as it has disappointed me. Why don't you take some time and rest here, and then set off. I will tell you where to find the third level is where you will find them down. It can be perhaps challenging, but you know, if you are ambitious, perhaps Gorm will listen to you and help you act justly.
And I sort of lean in and I say, ask him if we can get a map.
I definitely do.
Let me 1 second.
And some rations.
And some rations. And in fact, actually, you know, if there's anything at all that you think would be useful, if you have some warriors of Gorm, they might be helpful. Whoever might, anything that you think might help.
All right, 1 sec. I did not anticipate you asking for a map, so I'm going to prepare that in just a second. But yeah, he will definitely like prep you with food, and he will definitely give you food and the map. I'm just trying to find the right piece of information on the map, but I'm gonna just hand that over. You guys, one sec. So you should see 2 pages of maps. In the player folder now.
Yeah, got him.
Got them?
Yeah.
Anybody not see them?
Got it.
Unfortunately, they have secret doors on them. But I will tell you whether or not you see those. You can. He is going to point out a few things to you on the tier 3 map. He's going to point out that 24, that approximate area is the Great Shrine of Gorm. That is sort of their what's left of Gorm's section of this old temple. The southeast kind of quadrant, or that lower left quadrant, belong to the Magi of Usamigara, who is the god of magic, thievery, and trade. Um, and the upper right portion is dedicated to the Warrior Maidens of Madarua. Um, but the Magi seem to control most of that area down there, and seem to, from what he's telling you, don't seem to talk much to the warrior maidens either. That was the main area of old shrines. He hands you a map of tiers 4 and 5, but the main thing he shows you double check this to make sure I'm getting that right. is that in the Great Chamber that's number 50 on that map, where there's a small S in the upper right corner or the upper left corner, he tells you that is a secret entrance to the city. He also tells you very, very sternly not to go into the area labeled 48. And that you cannot tell what will happen in the rest of the area. That is the burial chambers of old rulers, and their families and their servants. And he asks you not, if you can avoid it, not to disturb them. And he tells you to be watchful for agents of Zargon.
Canadius, how could we recognize agents of Zargon?
Every time we learn to recognize agents of Zargon, they change their appearance. He is a god of cruelty, hunting, deception. Evil. They feel no loyalty to express who they truly are.
You said 50 leads into the city, right?
Yep.
Okay. And not to go into 48.
Yeah, he warns you against 48. He says that is almost entirely controlled. By the priest of Zargon. He said they were added on after this great temple and pyramid was built.
So we're going. I think I like point to 48. I'm like, so that's where we're going.
Like,
But you're saying that in common, not like
Yeah, in common. Me too.
well, if you wish to go to your certain death, I would advise against it. But
Palmia, think of the fame, think of the acclaim, think of the respect.
well, first we go talk to these magi and these maidens, and maybe we get like some kind of alliance going on, and then maybe we think about 48.
Yeah, I'm like, well, if there's nothing else to do, 48 seems like a good idea. Seems like there's plenty of other things there's plenty of other places that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Yes, interesting. That's a good thing. Not certainly deadly.
Well, so that's a valid point, and I think it is worth perhaps considering maybe just, I don't know, leaving. But I'm telling you, we could. I really think we could do something good here and make a profit.
Well, I'm in it for the glory, but not at the cost of my life.
Oh, no. What, you think I'm trying to get skinned down here? No. The second I think we can't handle that, we're done.
Okay. All right. I'm like pointing at 48. Like, watch out. 48.
In In their language, Tepe, Canadius looks at you and is just like, do not go into that area.
Canadius, listen, I was serious. I want to get the mage and the lady to join with Gorm, and I want to get Zargon out of here, and we can't do that unless we go into 48. I'm like tapping the map. I'm like, I'm gonna talk to my compatriots. We're gonna make this happen.
It is only a mighty force that can break the power of Zorm's priest, or Zargon's priest, and the god himself, or itself. I think you guys have successfully accomplished a goal.
Yeah, totally. 2.
So
Maybe 3.
why don't I give you, as you sort of talk to him, a second to level up?
Cool.
I will tell you, Tepe, that he he said that to you, even though you had not translated anything to him about going into Area 48.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Does Tepe write that off as like, because I was like tapping 48 on the map, or
Completely up to you.
interesting? Okay.
Oh,
When you level up, you can add a point to any stat of your choice, maximum 18. You gain 1 hit die of whatever your hit die type is. Which means you'll roll all of your hit dice and record your new total. If it doesn't improve your total, add 1 to your old total instead. Sorry. You're going to choose 2 of those. Add 1 point to a stat of your choice, gain a new hit die, research a new spell. If you already have magic training, gain 1 melee or missile attack, and gain 1 new ability once a day. And then an extra daily use for an existing one if you already have specialist training. Let me know if you've got questions there.
Okay, so you said, so the sheet says every new level choose 2, each entry only once. Do we really only choose
Not once in your life, just once for each level up.
for each level?
Yeah.
But you can choose 2 off a list.
Yeah.
Okay.
You choose any 2 off that list. Sorry.
Okay.
I was reading it wrong and correct.
No, yeah, you're good. I'm new to this, so it all works out. Actually, it makes me read. So
Okay.
Man.
Now, would it be possible for me to take something like a detect lies or like detect evil kind of spell?
Sure.
Okay. Awesome. All right, I'll do that. I think I'll take a hit die too. Ooh, I've got 11 HP. Wow.
Why don't each of you also? Okay, yeah. If you did not add a new hit die, you can roll a d4 and recover that many hit points back up to your maximum.
What is our maximum?
Whatever you started with,
Okay.
unless you added a new hit die right now, in which case you re-roll everything and that becomes your new maximum.
Okay. No. Okay, so what happens if I rolled 2d8 and got 2 1s?
What was your old maximum? What was your old maximum?
My old maximum was 5.
So yeah, it just goes up to 6, unless you want to spend a point of Constitution to re-roll.
No. No, I better not.
Yeah, that looks tough for you.
Yeah. All right. And then since we can also roll, sorry, what was that again about the D4?
You don't need to, since you're re-rolling hit points, you don't need to worry about it.
Okay.
Dennison, did you add a new hit die?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, he did it too. Yeah, he.
You're just gonna roll. You're gonna do 2d8, and that's gonna become your new maximum as well as your new hit points.
Okay.
Cool.
And I think I will make the detect evil a cost 3 spell. Give it instant casting time and a practical effect.
Okay, and you can take either of those off.
Okay.
To adjust the cost. You know, when you're actually casting it, but that's a. And you're calling it. You're doing detect evil.
Yep.
Okay.
Feel like that's somewhat less overpowered than detect lies.
All right. All right. Once you've eaten, Canadius sort of leads you into a what must be sort of a small treasure room where there's sort of caged chest of he also gives you little necklaces with a mask that like the one he's wearing on the as an amulet on the necklace. He thanks you again for your offering, Tepe, and then sort of leads you through this what must be a treasure room. The treasure room has these really, really large bees kind of flying around it, but they kind of ignore you as you move through. And that's out of that back door to his office. On the map you have, it would be into Area 7. He leads you into Area 4, which is just an abandoned room. And it has lots of collapsing furniture. And then he leads you into a hallway. And you're still using your lantern, right, Tepe?
Yes.
All right. 1 second. Why don't you go ahead and test a D8 for me. And tell me if you get a 1 or a 2, or a 1, 2, or 3.
I got a 5.
A 5. Yeah, you've still got a D8 or a wrist die of 8 lantern oil in that lantern. And I'll give you another D8 vial of oil.
Oh, awesome.
Just in wherever you want to toss on some supplies. And then he points you to some stairs. And he points you down the stairs.
I have a couple quick questions.
Sure thing.
So first of all, do we get like Delta 6 rations? How much rations do we
Yeah, let's do a Delta 6.
Okay. And also this like amulet of Gorm that I got. Could I use that for casting?
You would need to experiment with it, but in the current rules, faith items and non-faith items don't sort of tap into the same pool.
Gotcha. Cool. Okay. Thanks.
Sure thing. But he leads you to the stairs. Towards the bottom of the stairs, there's actually several torches that are lit. And, give me one moment. Apologize. So the stairs go down. There are torches towards the bottom of the stairs. And you get there and there's a door. I will say, check with me before you call out a secret passage that's on the map.
I also was wondering if I could have asked Canisius about the circle in the center of tier 3 with those arrows, like what that is.
Or that's that idiotic. It's that idiotic device they've created that our ancestors created. Excessively clever and excessively foolish.
Just nod.
Um, and you'll see how to create to use it once you get there.
No. All right. I am well, I think I have some ingenuity.
You seem to be very smart.
You're too kind.
I forget what I was gonna. Oh, on the mechanics side of things, just because even though we're nearing the end, I feel like, do we want to pick another goal now? Is that important?
Yeah, you can change those whenever you want. I'll check in with you at the beginning of each session on them.
Okay.
You can really change them as long as they're not like you're not just
On
completely
the fly.
Yeah, as long as you're not just retroactively changing them to something unchallenging, you can always you can always pick a new one.
Okay.
Okay. I think I completed my goal to find something to impress my teacher. Like, figured out why this city has become isolated, and have like maps of the city. I think those are both pretty good.
I am gonna do something real quick. So each time you should now all be at 0 completed goals, but like for instance, Kyle told me I can add 1 completed goal
Sure.
added down there.
And I think I will replace that goal with replace it to find a ritual implement to help with my magic.
Nice.
Do you? I kind of feel like Dennison got his goal as well. Like, find someone to impress with his special qualities. Like, I was definitely going on the.
Oh yeah.
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 I was
You can
definitely going the route of like do something with his performance ability, and I feel like I definitely hit that. So
nice.
Can we only have one personal goal at a time?
I think roughly is the one that's essentially what he recommends for personal goals.
Okay.
Yeah.
For a while, it was just whatever you wanted to write down, and it was getting sort of hard to keep track of.
Yeah, fair. I think I want to change my goal to I want to go to the main shrine of Gorm.
Okay. Perfect.
I also just added something in Vales because I just remembered. But I'll just say it because I realized that in media I hate torture scenes, so I want to put veils over those.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Thank you. And if I come close to one, don't hesitate to speak up. Just to make sure I none of us forget that it's.
Well, yeah, and it's the kind of thing where like I understand it's got value in a lot of storytelling, but I'm also
we can definitely veil it. Just don't hesitate to speak up if we get close to one.
So is there a place where we can keep track of the goals that we've hit?
So that's
just do it in notes or
you can just do it in notes.
Okay.
Oops. And should we track the group goals under completed goals as well?
I'm just highlighting those.
Okay.
Yeah, once if you finish one without leveling up, you can always just add it to your total completed goals.
Okay. Gotcha.
Make sense?
So it's like basically once you hit that requirement to level up, it doesn't really matter how many you cleared in that period. You just kind of go back to 0 and then.
If you've got follow over, we'll push it to the next one.
Okay, so yeah, I'd be at total of like 3 completed, I guess, because there's the 2 group goals and then 1 personal. So then I'd have 3, and I'm at level 2. So then I need another 2 to get to the next level, right?
Right.
Okay, cool, got it.
So you are at the base of those stairs. What do you, or at the base of those stairs, there's a door. What do you do?
Does Canadius part with us?
Yeah, as soon as he kind of pointed you toward the stairs, he showed you where to go.
All right. So who's first?
If you guys need someone, I think Dennison is ready and rearing to look at this door and to turn the handle. There's no light coming from below, I take it. It's like a
So yeah, there's a little bit of light. You might guess it's a little bit like the torchlight on the other side. So tell me what your approach to investigating this door is.
I mean, he'll be careful with it. I'm sorry, I'm gonna pull up the map. Is this 4 looking, or is this 4 looking onto the hallway, or is this the hallway looking onto the staircase, or is this the bottom of the staircase?
You are standing at the bottom of the staircase. On tier 4.
Yeah. Oh, really? Or tier 4?
Oh, sorry, tier 3. I apologize.
Okay. Okay. And so, okay, I think I'm seeing it. So it's like near 19A.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think like having the knowledge that there's a long way to go. He's going to he's like, you don't think, maybe he's like he motions towards going, like bending down and looking underneath the doorway, but he's like, it's just a hallway we're heading into, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just and he'll like kind of slowly creak open the door, the handle, and then open the door.
Make a dexterity check.
Okay.
Dexterity.
Sure. I got I failed it. 17.
Yeah, you open the door and it creaks a little bit. And now there's people on the other side of the door looking at you.
Okay.
They do not look like the Brotherhood of Gorm.
Ready ourselves, yeah.
They are wearing masks that have sort of decorative arms coming off, like cephalopod type arms, that almost like it's almost like a cuttlefish mask, except more kind of striking.
Could the people of Synodicia have chosen a better cultural archetype for spies to take root in their midst than everyone culturally wears masks? To pay is furious.
And let me get my notes open.
I would like to cast Detect Evil.
And it's instant, right? And you're going to take 3 hit points of damage for it?
Yep.
So let me finish describing this real quickly. I was trying to make sure. To pay, who was that woman who was that ranger that you were having a semi-flirtatious relationship with?
Her name was Messia, and she was like she was a ranger with the expedition. She was going out because she was hired on the expedition because she knew the mountain range pretty well.
Uh-huh.
And we'd been getting along pretty well.
So before you spend those hit points there, Palmia, all 3 of you see it's hard to see because they're sort of in a darkish corridor, and they're all sort of on top of each other. There's maybe 5, maybe 6 of them there. And they have Messia sort of bound as a prisoner. And they've clearly, whoever these people are, have been outdoors recently. Because they're wearing boots that have been outdoors. They're wearing there's still snow on their cloaks and robes. And they're wearing sort of a heavily leathered armor. And they have spears, and in these sort of cuttlefish masks, they point them at you. And they yell, "Heretics!" While pointing their spears at you. What do the 3 of you do?
I'm still casting Detect Evil.
They are deeply affected by evil. They have something evil has a deep influence over these people.
And I think I just, I think it's like to cast the spell, I'd probably draw a circle with my index finger, and just kind of see where it goes, and if it's going in the wrong direction, and I just turn to the others and say, "These people are bad news. Don't trust them."
Tepe, you might have gathered that by the fact that they pointed at you, called you heretics, and then they had Messia prisoner.
Yeah, it could have been a misunderstanding by the Magaris cult, but once Polmia tells me that they're bad, I am trying to decide if Tepe would be smart enough not to use the arquebus, or if he's reactionary enough to use the arquebus.
You tell me.
Roll the die of fate.
I think you'd be smart enough to use the arquebus. I'm reaching for my sword. That's all I know.
Remember, there's no initiative in Macchiato Monsters. It's very dungeon world, so it's very conversational. So just tell me what you're doing.
Yeah, I think I have, as soon as I saw Messia tied with the spears, I was reading the arquebus. And then when Polmia says that they're bad news, I think Tepe is just like, all right, that's all I needed, and pulls the trigger.
All right.
As I am aiming as far from Messia as I can, but I don't know, it's in a corridor, and who knows?
So if you guys will give me 1 second, I'm going to pull up their hit die. One moment. So you're firing that arquebus. Why don't you make a dexterity check?
All right. That is a 15 out of my dex 12.
So why don't you roll a d8 there, and tell me what you get there.
I got a 4.
So you're taking 4 points of damage as somebody sort of cuts into your shoulder where the arquebus is with a spear, sort of knocking the arquebus not quite out of your hands, but definitely off, and echoing loudly in the corridor as commotion and lots of yelling start, as all 6 of them sort of leave Messia and sort of surge towards the 3 of you. What are you doing there, Dennison?
Dennison's taking Mom's sword, and he's gonna draw it and just kind of he's hoping it lights up to at least draw some attention, or at least some distraction. And he's gonna slice at the first one.
So Dennison, you're going to roll your strength.
Okay.
So you need a 6 or less.
Now I'm regretting choosing 2 melee attacks. I got a 7.
Do you want to make that second melee attack?
Oh yeah, right on. Totally. I got a 10. So
10. All right. Yeah. Why don't you roll 2d8, Dennison?
I got a 3 and 4.
A 3 and a 4. You're going to take 7 points of damage.
Ouch.
What is that? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm at 2.
And what are you up to, Polmia?
I think I will try to. Yeah, I think to start out with, I'm definitely gonna have my shield out and throw darts at these guys. So, yeah, that's my plan.
And just to remind you, Tepe, you should roll your breastplate.
Yeah, I just can I do that? Can I?
Yeah, please. Yeah. We're all learning the rules. So
Yeah, I totally forgot about that. I had some armor. So I roll my delta for that, right? And then that's the amount that I can take out.
yeah. Mm-hmm. And then if you roll a 1, 2, or 3, it goes down to a D4.
All right.
And then if you lose the D4, you've got to repair that breastplate before it can go back up.
Oh,
How'd you do? How'd you do?
I rolled a 6.
Nice. So restore 6 hit points to yourself. Same thing with your leather coat,
Sure.
Dennison. So roll, and if you get a 1, 2, or 3, your leather coat's ripped, but you're still getting that amount of protection.
So it's ripped. I got a 2, but
Yeah, you give yourself 2 hit points back.
okay.
So yeah, you may want to make a note that the maximum for that leather coat is Delta 4, but you currently have 0. And so what were you? I'm sorry, Palmia, I got distracted there. I apologize.
Yeah, I just hoist up my round shield and throw a dart at one of these cultists.
Yeah. Why don't you roll your dexterity?
All right. It is not great. Here we go. So I'm just going to refresh roll for your party.
That's okay. Is it doing the thing where it keeps giving you the same number over and over and over?
Yeah, it wasn't rolling because I didn't get the spinny thing. Yeah, I failed. I got a 15.
All right. And why don't you roll a d8 as well?
Okay. I'm going to roll again because I'm not sure where that ended up on the.
It's right there on top of. I'm going to pull it out for you.
Okay.
It's that D. It's the D8 that has a 4 there.
Okay.
And
Cool.
we may want to pull those blue dice away from the main.
Yeah.
Because that's where the dice end up when they roll too. So.
Okay. Cool.
We don't have to delete them, but we're
Yeah.
going to pull them away just so that
Um.
we can tell where they're going.
Sure. Oops. I won't do that. So, what about my shield? Does that have an impact on?
Does it have a delta?
The shield. It's a round shield. Leather coat Delta 4 and round shield.
Why don't you do your leather coat first?
Yeah, okay. So I think there's some rule for shields that's maybe a little different than armor.
Yeah, I was just looking for the shield rules. 1 second. Yeah, you can splinter a shield, or you can use a shield. I will improvise and say you can use a shield to go kind of fully defensive.
Okay.
Yeah,
so I think I'll splinter my shield in this case.
Okay, so you no longer have a shield.
But my leather coat is still intact.
Yeah, you don't have to roll your leather, and you don't take any damage.
Yeah.
What are the 3 of you doing now?
Can I ask a really quick mechanical question about my 2 attacks per turn? Is that I roll once, and if so, I get to deal damage twice, or
I keep forgetting this. Yeah, you always in Macchiato Monsters, any combat turn, you only roll once, and then you essentially, if you have 2 attacks, you just hit twice.
Okay, all right, cool. So that actually is preferable to me because I didn't want to roll and miss again on that 1 round of combat.
Nice. Yeah.
Does anyone else have action they want to immediately follow up with?
So they're basically just like a raid in front of us with a bunch of spears, right?
Right.
Okay, got it. Yeah, I would just probably throw another dart.
Why don't you roll your dex again?
Okay. Okay, there's a hit.
Nice.
6.
Roll that d6. Do you
Right.
want to toss in some extra damage by risking running out of darts?
Totally.
All right. So why don't you roll 2d6 for damage?
All right.
And if the second d6 is a 1 to 3, your quiver is down to d4.
Okay. I'm just gonna roll them in order then, so that I know.
Perfect.
Okay, so that is a 3 on the first one, and then a 2 on the second one. So my quiver is down to a 4. Delta 4.
Nice. Okay.
So that's 5 damage total. So yeah, I got my splintered shield on my arm. There's like leather straps hanging off, and just throwing darts desperately.
One sec. Oh. Okay. All right. As you hurl those darts at the enemy, and Dennison, what are you up to? I know Tepe. Are you shooting or are you hitting with the shillelagh?
I think I'm gonna take another shot. I think.
Awesome. Why don't you roll your dex?
All right. And that is a 9.
9 out of 12, which is a hit.
Yeah.
Do you want to risk your shot? Because you have a d6 of shot, which means that you can when you roll that d6, you add it to the damage. But you can add that. Yeah, you'll add that d6 to the damage, but whatever you get on the d6 is a risk die.
Okay. Yeah, I'll add that. I'll try that out. And that is a dang it. That's a 2.
Okay, so you have a d4 of shot. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of places to get.
Yeah.
How did you do on that d8 though?
For my damage. Let's see. First one was a 7. So my first shot hit for 7 plus 2.
Okay.
Am I getting that plus 2 to both attacks?
Not really, but we'll figure that out in a second.
Okay. All right. And then my second shot did a 2. So if possible, I'd like to add the ammo 2 to my second attack.
Okay.
That's a 7 and a 4.
Nice. In this process, 3 of the people have gone down. And Messiah is looking kind of impressed. And kind of intimidated. And Dennison, what are you up to?
I think Dennison is he's gonna cool out of the sword because that's just like self-preservation. He got kind of mangled a little bit, and he might pull out the bow and actually try to shoot one of these guys with his nomad bow. Yeah. So
nice.
So should I just do a dex to do that?
Yeah, you just do dex.
Okay. That was not my reroll. I did not know it was going to reroll. Hold on, let me. Okay, 2.
All right.
So, yeah.
You got a 2. So that's a hit.
Okay.
You make 2 melee attacks. You only make 1 missile attack, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to risk your do you want to risk your supply of arrows?
Yeah, I think I would.
Okay.
Hopefully, given the
What's your how many what's your risk of how much your
it's
value
pretty
of
good. Yeah, it's got Delta 8.
Delta 8? So you roll a D8 as well as a
The damage is
as
D6.
well as, the damage of D6 and a D8. Sorry.
Okay. So I get 5 damage, and I rolled a Delta. I rolled 8. I rolled 5 on my D8 as well.
All right. So get 5 on both.
Yeah.
Nice. You're rolled instead of deleting them. Yeah, you fire off 2 arrows in quick succession, and both of them sort of take out the 2 remaining people,
Cool.
and the one of them flees, starts to run. What are you guys going to do about that?
I will throw a dart in his back.
30.
Okay. Come on. Oh. Just gonna refresh here.
No worries.
There we go. No, that's a miss.
Okay. What about
I think if I had time, Dennison would shoot another arrow.
shoot it?
Yeah. Okay. So that's a D20 Dex roll.
Uh-huh.
No, I missed 19.
Any chance I could get a last shot?
Yeah.
We're all just going after this guy. I actually want to throw. I have polished rocks.
Okay.
And I want to throw him out, throw a stone at him. Just
try to nail him.
Going right for the head. And that is a 4.
A 4?
Yeah, out of 12.
Why don't you roll your damage?
All right. 3 damage.
You ping him and he just drops.
Yes.
Come on. And he falls with a slight gasping moan. And Messia, kind of bound and gagged, stands in a corner looking at you like, looking at you with arched eyebrows, to pay. What do y'all do?
I think I'll get to untying the captives.
The captain?
Like, because I think was it just Messia that was captive there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, never mind that. I think I'll kind of unstrap my shattered shield and get it out of the way.
Yeah, I think I don't know if it's preemptive, but yeah, I think maybe I would start unshackling Messia at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, just put my weapon on my back and my side and just go up, and it feels like I'm kind of just looking around and definitely feeling the weight of that fight. Like my leather armor is in tatters and just I'm more than winded. So I'm not necessarily very happy about it or very proud about it, but I'm helping out. So
yeah. Tapir, what are you up to?
I think as Dennison is unshackling Messia, Tapir jumps over one of the bodies and runs up in front of Messia and is It's like, God's girl, what? How did you end up down here?
She's sort of like trying to get blood back into her hands and working her jaw where it's kind of been clenched onto a bit that was used to gag her, and spitting. She's like, water. Do you have water? And Canadius gave you, let's call it a D8 of food and a D8 of water. And she's been brought down without any gear.
Yeah, I unscrew my flask and I hand it to her.
She chugs it.
Well, not all.
And she spills a good bit of it. You have a D6 of water. She's like, thank you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I came to look for you.
Oh, yeah, you did, huh?
Well, I mean, all 4 of you.
Right, of course.
The people who were missing, and then found these masked assholes as I started following your tracks, got near the city area, ruins, whatever this area is. I don't even know how you found it. And I got captured and dragged down here. I couldn't understand a word they said. And they look a lot like the people that they look a lot like the people who had you saw up with the Gormites. They were definitely fair skin, fair hair. And the big mask. And one of them is still the one you hit with the rock is still moaning to pay. The ones you shot or stabbed or not they're not doing well. But the one you hit with the rock is still sort of like. Rrr.
We might want to interrogate him and drag him up to his. I think Dennison will go up and just kind of like grapple with him and put him up against a wall or up against a maybe the ledge of the stair or something like that, so that everybody else could see him. He's maybe a little more illuminated.
Yeah.
And does he respond to what I'm doing? Like, does he?
He seems a little too dazed right this second.
I'm just curious if it's funny because I'm the one that drew the veil over being torturous of people, but I just ask him if are there more of you out there? I don't know if he's
Pepe, are you translating this? Yeah. Just wanted to check with you before I assume.
Oh yeah, as I think I like bring Messia over as Dennison's like setting this up, and yeah, I translate for Dennison.
Out where? We are the servants of Zargon. We are numberless.
Okay, I'm sure there are more.
We are numerous as Zargon's appetites.
I'm just gonna look to the others and be like, I got nothing.
I'd just say, like, I mean, he's really far gone. I can tell you that much. And I'm not a cleric. I don't know what I could do for him.
Hey, guy, how about a number in this floor? How many are there?
I don't know. There's a bunch of heretics here.
Okay, you suck. Messia, do you want to do this guy in?
She's like, she just clocks him on the back of the head and he slumps.
I don't know if we feel we could use another body, but seeing as she is gearless, it might be best to send her back up to Canadius.
Oh yeah. I say. Oh well. This place is really dangerous. Why don't you go wait upstairs? There's some decent people up there. They'll take care of you.
Very dangerous, huh? All right.
Well, I mean, I trust you can handle yourself, but you've got no equipment. I bet you're more dangerous than I am.
She eyes your battle axe. It's just like,
Oh, this thing? Oh yeah. You can have this. I mean, it's like a family heirloom, but I didn't even want to take it, and my family was just like, "You have to take it. You're going adventuring, so here, have the axe. It's good, I'm sure."
so you want me to stay with you or go see somebody else? Who am I going to see?
So here's the thing. There's some good cultists, some nice cultists upstairs, and we're trying to help them out from these assholes. But I don't know how you're feeling right now, because you were just tied up. If you want, we're trying to find the Warrior Maidens of Madarua. Madarua? And I don't know, they might be able to hook you up. But if you're feeling more like not doing that, probably Canadius. I'm sure we're good friends, and if we could probably, I'm sure he would let you rest up there.
I, can be useful. I mean, she's got some leather on, and you've got water and food, and you're about to go talk to people.
I
could be
guess.
useful.
Yeah, I'll vouch for her and be like, just let her I'll be the dissenting voice and just be like, yeah, she's fine. Let's just continue forth.
All right, hell yeah.
Sounds good.
And she like checks out your grandmother's axe. She's like, it's pretty impressive.
Oh.
Not bad.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't know much about axes, but it's seen some use and stood the test of time.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see how it goes.
And I look at her and I'm like, yeah, we'll see how it goes.
We'll see how it goes. She does a few impressive axe twirls. I like the balance. She sort of tucks it onto her belt or hooks it onto her belt and is like, let's get moving. Where are you guys going? I mean, there's only, there's definitely that one hallway. One person can make a wisdom check for me, though, and you can decide who that is.
I can do that. I haven't
Only
done a wisdom check in a while.
you are very wise.
I hope so. That is a success.
Nice. You see the outlines of a sliding door in the hallway as you start to move along this otherwise sort of single route hallway.
Excellent. I pointed out to everybody else. Say, hey, there's a door over there.
There is, I mean, it's just kind of a sliding door. It's almost like a supply something door or something like that. And there's the hall sort of lifting, moving along.
Yeah, I mean, I think Dennison is interested in the sliding door. I think he's kind of the trailblazer in a sense of the party, so he's interested in moving it aside and taking a peek inside.
All right.
Especially now that I realize it, especially since we do have a thief, but Yelnara is not here with us.
Right.
She's
No,
nap.
you can move it aside. And one sec. There's a bunch of barrels as your lantern light hits into them. And you hear a crunching sound sort of like the room is just filled with barrels, and there's kind of a pawing or crunching sound, something animalistic sounding coming from deep within the room. What do you do?
I think I look to whoever's got the lantern, like,
I think I tried to hand off the lantern. And then if no one takes it, Tapei takes a few steps forward.
Yeah, there's these really large, like larger than the ones you saw in the entry chamber when we're under the tubes. But there's these really large 3-foot long beetles just sort of chewing heavily on the top of the tanks. They're about 7-8 feet from you, and they started, like, as soon as the light comes in, they started sort of like turning around to sort of eye the light. But there's a door on the far side of the room, and they're still sort of chewing on the top of those barrels. But they're still chewing at the top of those barrels, but they're not being overly aggressive towards you yet. And there's a door you can see in the lantern light sort of on the far side of the room.
I think I'll like take out some rations and try to like scatter it far away from us to hopefully distract the beetles and be like,
Yeah, I'm picking up what Pulmia's putting down. I want to try to cross.
Oh yeah, they two of them dart after the rations, and then you throw in one direction's Palmia, and two that just kind of keep chewing on some barrels closer to where you threw the rations. They sort of like scamper that way, and then notice the two others fighting over whatever you threw, and then just start chewing on barrels close to there. What do you do now?
Just gonna slowly make my way over to the far door.
Everyone following Palmia?
Uh-huh. I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah. If there's any sign that I'm gonna try to discern what's actually. Is there any signs or tells as to what's actually in these barrels?
You can sort of see like you can sort of see foodstuffs. Like you can see like um, you can see it's more like you can smell dried food.
Yeah. Okay.
Kind of the smell of that sugary, smoked, salty, dry food stuffs.
Yeah.
Coming from, and they seem to be going after that sort of thing.
Okay. Sounds good.
And they have these big pincers that they're using to sort of gnaw away at the wood of the crates and barrels. And I'm just gonna assume you guys move forward. Palmia, is that all right? Tell me if
That's the plan. Yeah.
All right. You guys can walk through that door, move down the hall. Is anybody not doing that?
No, I'm following. I'm trying to get through there.
And Mathia is coming along with you. If somebody wants to note that Mathia is a D12 fighting hireling.
Nice.
And you move at one end of that T intersection. As you kind of get to it, you see an 8-foot tall bronze statue of a child with wings that has 2 snakes twined around its body. And much like the statue on the top of the pyramid, it has a wand in one hand and a handful of coins in the other. And it looks built onto the wall. At the other end of that corridor is a door with a lever. And let us end there.
Awesome.
Good night.
Nice.
And I'm going to stop the broadcast. Thanks everybody for joining us.